Good evening. Out there in virtual world, this is the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. And I'm Bobby Special K. Kinzer.
And I'm Thomas Doty.
And we like to welcome you to our show, trying to empower people with financial knowledge, hoping that you can increase your wealth and also begin to create generational wealth. Just a great day, Dope, to be talking about finances, man.
Yeah, man. After the week in New York, my whole family got COVID. Everybody but me. So,
wow,
I'm happy to be here.
That's a good thing, bro. But let's start getting on beat. First and foremost, before I start, I must remind people that please click on the like button and the heart button, and as many times you can, because that helps us. Exposes us to more population out there in virtual world. And also please subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, for all your YouTube people out there. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us around the world. We are Global Dope. And the good thing about the information we got, this information can be used. Doesn't matter what country you in, doesn't matter what your nationality is. This is good information. So thank you for tuning in. Dope. What's up with Thursdays, man, in the stock market? Seems like every Thursday the stock market lately has been taking a beating.
No, it's not just Thursday, my brother. It's up and down, and it's going to be this way for a while, and we just have to hang tough through it. You want to show the chart with the update, and we'll talk about what's going on. It's been a really a crazy week. It's the Dow was down a couple hundred points, but it's been up and down. So it's only down like 0.8%. The NASDAQ's down a little bit more. It's down about 3%. Some of the holdings I have, Microsoft is down 3%. Tesla dropped 47 points, 6.5%. Apple only dropped 3%, and Pfizer's up 1%. And as I said before, it's just a volatile market. And we're going to talk in a minute about why you should just don't panic, don't overreact, and things should get better. There's no guarantee that they will, but you just have to stay invested, stay calm, do not panic. And I guess, Bob, your crypto is doing even worse, right?
Well, no doubt about it. Cryptocurrency is taking a beating. It's taking a beating. It's like, wow. I mean, about, I don't know, last year, the cryptocurrency market was at 2.7 trillion. It's down to 899 billion. The Bitcoin, which is the number one cryptocurrency out of about 15,000 or more cryptocurrency that everybody sort of looks to because that's the most popular one and seems to be the most stable. It's down by about 5%. Last week, it was at $21,000 for one Bitcoin. Today, it's down to 19,000 In November of 2021, Bitcoin was at about 60,000 for one Bitcoin. It's all the way down. So it's just telling us that people are just cashing out, especially the people who got in early. So, like we always say about cryptocurrency, it should be money that you're willing to lose, but it's about the long play. So don't be panicking and jumping out and feeling crazy. It's just like Dote said, the market, that's what the market does. It goes up and goes down. The key is make sure you have a plan. Um, Dote, one thing is the inflation has been just rampant. It's been, and it's just the number one topic to everybody's. The presidential, they trying to lay it on the feet of President Biden, saying that he has something to do with it, and he doesn't. But it is definitely possibly could be leading us into a recession.
Yeah, and that's what everybody's thinking, but you really have to be careful and take a look at some history. So we're going to talk for a minute about this whole inflation and possibility of recession. Now, there are some signs that the possibility of a recession in the future may be rising. But a couple of things to remember. Historically, stocks have rallied after a bear market. Sometimes even after news headlines have talked about recession risk and get everybody worried and upset. And so it's not quite panic time yet. And sometimes just seeing headlines can create anxiety for you. And if you're one of those people, you gotta realize some of it is just news to catch your eye. It's not really fact-based or information-based. And so you have to be careful of even listening to that. Because there's a lot in the market that is strong and good. And we've talked about this before, but historically, patient investors have done well. What you have to watch is trying to time corrections and get out, think you're getting out before things get bad. But it's almost impossible to do that. And if you look at when we had big market volatility, 2008, 2011, 2018, and 2020, right after that, within 3 years of that, there were always huge increases in the market. Now, the Fed raising interest rates, what they're trying to do is slow the economy down, which can lead to recession, okay? But again, there's a lot of good things going on. If you look at corporate profits are healthy, consumer spending is healthy, there's still a strong job market, and those all are indicative of a good market.
Unemployment is down, very low.
Yeah, the economy is growing. But another positive, 78 of the S&P 500 companies beat their profit expectation in the first quarter. Now, there has been some signs of slowing, so we'll see what the second quarter holds. Those results will start coming in the middle of July, so we'll see where we are there. But the thing you got to remember is not all bear markets have led to recessions. Since 1950, there's been 14 bear markets. Only 8 of them led to recession, okay? And in history, 2008, 2011, stocks dropped by 20%, and you saw headlines talking about a recession is imminent, but neither one happened in either of those cases. In 2011, the stocks returned 11% in the year after the bear market, okay? And they were up 64% 3 years later. For 2018, stocks returned 40% in 12 months after the bear market, and were up 112% 3 years later. So history doesn't always indicate what's going to happen in the future, but you can look back and things should be similar. But no one knows what's going to happen. But that's when you look at history, that's how it's been. and recoveries can happen right after a bear market. So nobody knows what's going to happen there. And if you think about some of the other positives in the market, the Fed's action should cut inflation. So next year, the rate should be a more reasonable 4% compared to where it is now, around 8-9%. And economic growth, it may be cut, but it may be cut from an extremely high level to a more moderate level at just a slower pace, which is more positive. Corporate profits may continue to grow. Don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see in the next few weeks when companies start reporting their second quarter results. Maybe there'll be a resolution in the Russia-Ukraine thing, and that'll help some of the global supply issues. And hopefully China can do something with COVID so we can keep the outbreaks at a minimum, and that'll kind of help overall global economic growth. And so the thing I want you to remember is just to stay calm. Don't try to time the market. If a recession does come, which, the risk of it is rising, there's a lot of things you can do to prepare, to be ready if it does happen. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Some of the things you should do to be ready if a recession does take place, or this bear market lasts a little longer, or inflation continues to wreak havoc on the economy.
Dope. Got a question from my good man, Rodney Madison, noteexperience.com. Go check him out if you want to learn about mortgage notes. He said, some say we're already in a recession because, normally they say we don't find out, they don't announce we're in a recession until long after we've been into it. And he said, what are the determining factors to say we are truly in a recession? Now,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Doug.
No, go ahead and give the technical question, but I was actually speaking to my analyst today with Fidelity, and they follow 70 different factors that indicate whether or not a recession is imminent. And very few of those indicate a recession is imminent. And so their feeling is that a recession is the risk of it is rising, but it's not imminent. We're clearly in a bear market, and that's all that's where we are. But given the technical definition of a recession, Bob, do you have that?
Yes, the technical definition is when you have two consecutive quarters of negative, two consecutive negative quarters in the market. And by the way, a bear market is the definition of a bear market is when the market drops 20% or more. So that's the bear market. And I want to give some clarification for people. We keep talking about and throw that word out. We assume everybody knows. But what a recession actually means is, higher interest rates, lending between banks tighten up, so that becomes passed to us. Interest rates start rising. Whatever indicators though about a recession, so people know.
Just the economy's slow. The economy's slow. Companies aren't earning. Earnings growth has slowed. Companies aren't making as much money. It's just a very, very sluggish economy.
Right. So, and that's what. But it's so interesting because it's a balance between the Federal Reserve, because there's a thing when you overcooking, like where prices of houses are being overvalued and so the Federal Reserve tries to slow some of that economy down because it's getting out of hand and things are being overpriced and overvalued. But then you have to worry about them slowing it too much. So that's why it's an interesting balancing act when you start talking about the macros and the micros of economics, which affects us. But that's what we try to hear at the FITT Show, just try to give some information on that. But Doe, I want to talk, let's talk about, why inflation can lead to a recession. Well, we talk about why it can lead to a recession phenomenon, but what are some of the things that people need to be considering with inflation the way it is?
Well, you know, my favorite is review your income, expenses, and goals. Okay.
Well, before you get to that, dope, let's talk about the impromptu road trips that people be taking.
Yeah. Okay. Some of the things you can do to fight inflation, or no,
Yes.
some of the things that people are doing to uh, handle inflation, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, that's one people. You know, one guy wrote, and he's not taking any more impromptu road trips. He's just not doing anything like automatic. Just I'm going to take a trip here because the gas is $5 a gallon. Most places higher in a lot of places. So that's one of the things people are doing. Not taking any road trips.
Let me tell you another one, dope. And I might be stepping on. No, it's not that I might. This is going to step on some toes. One individual, and we're taking these from the Kiplinger and comments of people out there, what they doing. But one lady said, no more lash extensions, nails, hair, and makeup. Now I know I'm gonna step on some toes and some nails, some fingernails, but the amount of money that is spent, and I mean, I look at these eyelashes and some of my waiters at the place. I'm like, how much you spend on those eyelashes? But it's simple as that. And this, let me tell y'all, it's not ever the big things. It's not like trying to save $500 or trying to save something. It's the little things that add up. Those $5, $10, $20, they add up real quick.
Oh yeah. Another one, Bob, was cut out unnecessary online shopping. And I'm definitely guilty of that. I'll be looking online and see a sale, or I got a reward coming, so I said, oh, I gotta go shopping. And so one guy said he's cutting out unnecessary online shopping.
And though the thing about online shopping, it really can entice you to shop more because it's so easy. You know, you can go to 5 different department stores and be sitting in your chair.
Tap tap, it's done.
It's done.
It's
So you gotta be aware of that, you all.
yeah.
Hey, no, another person talking about cut back on going out using gas.
Oh yeah.
Meaning, you know, because gas prices is so high, man. My daughter, you know, she's working now and she's working out. She's working out fitness. She works as an intern at a physiotherapist. Then she works at retail at Champs in Hollister. And just I think it was about maybe 2 weeks, she spent $300 on gas. I'm like, good gracious, man. So, I mean, think about it, you all. We're not saying you have to be a hermit, but sometimes, you know, you need to save money. You got to do what you got to do.
Hey, Bob, this is one of my favorites.
What's
My
that?
roommate is terrible, but every time I look at rent prices for a 1-bedroom, I start to think that maybe my situation is not so bad.
Right.
And again, it's cheaper to live with a roommate than to have a 1-bedroom, but that's one of the decisions people are making because of what's going on today.
Hey, Doe, check this one out. And I know a couple of people in this situation. My dreams of owning a home this year is being delayed. And I know a lot of people, I know some young people looking to buy a home, and the prices are like 40% up. And there are price wars, but it's starting to simmer a little bit, dope. But this, you know, the past few months, man, people were outbidding people over the actual valuation of a house, and so a lot of people are delaying their decision to buy their dream homes, and it's rightfully so. But the interesting thing, by delaying it, the interest rates are just going up, and they talked about maybe possibly though another housing bubble, because what's happening is 33%, over a third of people buying homes are investors. And what they're saying, that's a lot. And what they're saying, they're buying these properties to be renting them, but sometimes it might not work out that way. And if they can't get renters, because rents is going up and people are going back home, staying with their families, you might be stuck with all these glut of properties and you have more hand. That could be a problem.
And I've also heard that these companies that are buying homes sometimes overpay to push the value of the other homes in that neighborhood up, which is really crazy to me.
Wow.
Moving ahead, another one. I'm done with junk food and desserts. I stopped buying meat altogether. Veggies are way cheaper, and frozen veggies and fruits never go bad. And That's a good one. If it forces you to give up dessert and stop eating junk food, then there's nothing wrong with that. But that's another suggestion.
Hey, Dope, check this one out. Having kids, sorry, but it's a horrible decision from a financial standpoint. Now, once again, I know I'm stepping on toes, but kids are expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't know how some of these young people are having 3 and 4 kids, man. I don't know how they're doing it, man. But you need to think about that, and like delaying your dream home, you might have to delay having kids if you're trying to get yourself financially stable so that you can get in a position when you can start to be building wealth. Hey, Dope,
Yeah.
you particularly
What?
talking about how expensive kids are. Do you mind if I ask you how much did you spend for your 4 kids in college?
Just for college. Just for college, I spent over $400,000 to get.
Of your money. That's not no scholarships.
No, that's out of my pocket. That's it's expensive to get kids through college.
Good Lord.
Yeah, but it's worth it. It was worth it. They're all doing well and off the payroll and making a contribution to the economy. So it's a good thing. Now, I hate to see that not having kids because you can't compare money and kids. Okay, but that's a whole nother subject. So
Hey, and you're right, but let's be honest. Some people don't need to be having no daggone kids. They should make a license. You have to get a license to have a kid. Some people don't need to be having kids.
Okay, we ain't gonna turn into a Steve Harvey show. Let's stick to finances.
Well, you know what I say to that. Stop that daggone food.
Okay. Another guy said he's never going to another concert. He said, I just won't go to concerts. They're too expensive and I don't have money to do that. I thought that was interesting.
Hey, Dope, they just had a concert. They got a concert coming up. I think it's like Freddie Jackson, the OJs, the Whispers, or something, Stephanie Mills or something. They must charge $160. These must have had a hit in 20 years.
Well, they probably got to pay to have nurses for because all those folks are older than me. So they got to have nurses and doctors on that.
Man.
But I would pay to see them. I would pay to see them.
I would too, though, because we went to see Cameo. Mm-hmm. And you remember Larry Blackman? He had the card piece. Remember, he had the card piece on, but it seemed like it was all the way down by his knees now.
Okay.
But anyway, buying stuff that's not on sale. That's a big one, because why pay premium? There's buying stuff that's not on sale.
And another one with that, Bob, is there's a season to buy everything. Learn what that season is when it is on sale, and buy during that season. Okay,
that's a good one. Though.
This is one me and you fought over: doggy daycare. People,
here we go.
People send their dogs to get some companionship from other dogs. And now I feel if a dog helps your mental wellness and mental well-being, then it's well worth it. But everybody don't agree with that.
I mean, I get it, though. No, I feel though. I'm compassionate to that. I'm compassionate to a person, needing a dog, or won't you get a stuffed animal? But I mean, but this is the thing: if you don't have the money, and it's psychological, and I told you, why don't they just take the money and spend on one session with a therapist? And
everybody's different, man. If a dog makes you happy, anything that brings you happiness is worth it. That's to me.
And Doe, I'm compassionate. Don't think I'm not, man. But I'm just saying this on this is my last point on this, Doe. This is my last point, though. If they just spend that one-time payment to go to a psychiatrist, it'd be worth it. Because you know what the psychiatrist is going to tell them? Yeah. Stop that daggone foolishness. Okay, let me keep going. So my privacy, this is another person talking, though. My privacy, all 3 of my children plus my granddaughter have moved back. Like I said, a lot of people are moving back home, because it's expensive out there, especially renting. And a lot of people are moving back home because they're trying to save money. And I'm all for that, because some people are like, man, get these kids out, man. I'm all for that, man. Especially nowadays, it's so crazy out there, man. If you can help your kids, why not take them back in?
Yeah, but now we're laughing about some of these. This is one that's a little more serious. Going to the doctor. Some people have cut down on doctor's visits and maybe are making life decisions just based on money because they don't have the money to pay for things. And that's really a sad situation if people can't get the care they need because they don't have the money for it. I hope that's not the case.
Funny. Garnett said, good one, don't leave Steve Harvey out of this.
Yeah, we don't, yeah.
Hey, Doe, another one, man. Not taking any vacations or trips this year. Now, I know that's a tough one, and that's been with, me and Tiffany and Melody. We haven't taken any vacations in 3 years, well, obviously for the COVID, but man, we saved so much money, man. Taking trips and vacations. And I know people need that, just like people need that dog. People need that break. But if you're trying to save money and preparing for this particular recession to handle the financial shock that comes with this, you might consider not having a vacation this year.
Yeah, and we talked about eating healthy. I'll go to the next one. Another one is saying, I'm extremely frustrated trying to have a savings account. And that's a tough one because, we always preach having an emergency fund, setting up your investing accounts, making sure you got money for what ifs. And a lot of people are having to dip into that or having to cut putting money into that because things are so crazy right now.
Hey, Doug, doing things spontaneously. The person said, now I need to sit down and look at my budget. Because a lot of people just be doing stuff off the cuff that be costing so much money and they don't even consider their budget. But hey, sometimes we need to sit down and plan, plan your finances, plan your moves, and prepare for these future shocks.
Yeah, and another one that has people on both sides, but some couples are saying we can't afford to have a mom stay home. We need two incomes. People are making a decision that both of them have to work. Again, that's a personal decision for everybody.
So, though it's mid-year, and there are things that people should be reviewing. Now, you should always do this, but this year is even more important and critical because inflation is rampant and the risk of recession is rising. So let's discuss some of the following things that people need to consider with the mid-year focus.
Yeah, and it's definitely crucial this year. And I'm always big on looking at your income and expenses and your goals. And it's very, very important that you do that now because you got to be prepared for what may happen. And I ain't talking about looking at every penny you made over the last 6 months, but you got to take a few minutes to check, look at your budget, look at your bank accounts, and which can help you understand your finances and change things if you need to. And with the way inflation is going, if you had a budget back in January, it's probably different right now. Your commuting costs, if you're going to work, or your gas, a lot of those things are much higher than they were. All your food costs are higher. Everything has gone up. And so you probably need to take a look and see what needs to be changed. So you need to look for opportunity to scale back on things that you spent more than you anticipated. You might have to dine out less, go out to eat less often. You might have to cut some subscription services that you've been using, or look for ways to just save money because you're definitely spending more than you thought you were going to spend. And in most cases, your income probably has not gone up in relation to your expenses.
Though another big one that you need to consider is got to deal with debt. Now, debt can choke you out. And we know this, but debt is becoming more expensive. That's the whole thing that we're talking about, heading to these tailwinds, man. It's expensive and to carry due to rising interest rates. Now, you need to pay down your debt sooner, particularly those that have variable interest rates, to save money. Now, these could be like personal loans, adjustable rate mortgages, even credit cards. If you can go from a variable rate to a fixed rate, it will save you so much money. And then you need to concentrate on reducing your highest rate debt first. Um, there, there's um, there's two kinds of debt philosophies that Dave Ramsey talks about. He talks about the avalanche and the snowball effect. Now, the avalanche effect is taking the highest interest rate and pay that down first, then move on to the next highest. And you switch from a variable to a fixed option by refinancing. And if possible, if you can lock in a fixed rate now, you're likely to save yourself significantly in interest costs. You also need to be aware of the end dates for loans in forbearances, especially like those federal student loan payments, because a lot of them will resume September the 1st, barring any other extensions. But you need to look at those end dates on those forbearances, meaning that they forgiven payments for right now. And another thing, you need to, excuse me, setting aside money now in a separate savings fund can help soften the blow.
Okay, and another one, it's 6 months away, but plan your holiday spending now. Inflation could make holiday gifts pretty pricey this year. So make a shopping list now, figure out what you can afford, and then figure out how you can start saving to have what you'll need come Christmas, so you don't end up in January, February with huge bills coming in by having bought stuff that you can't afford. So it can also help you manage the cost without going into debt if you start putting money away. And again, I talked about buying things in certain seasons. If you got 4th of July holidays, you got a lot of certain times where they have sales. Maybe this is when you buy your presents, and have that out of the way. Amazon Prime Day is also coming. That's another one. Nordstrom's anniversary sale. Think about buying some of your presents now or putting the money away for it so you have it, so you're ready for the holiday season.
Hey, Doe, want to circle back on one I meant to mention about dealing with debt. For everybody to understand that medical debt is going to be disappearing from the credit report. Starting July the 1st, all paid medical collections will be eliminated from people's credit files, and no unpaid bill will be reported until 12 months have passed. Now, this is an increase from the current term, used to be 6 months. By June 30th, 2023, the three major credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, will also stop reporting unpaid medical bills under $500. So consumer advocates have held that these changes be noted that those with larger debts may not, will face, people will still have larger debts, medical debt, they will still face credit damage. Though, another big one, examining your taxes and your benefits.
Yeah, well, let's talk about taxes for a minute. Get some kind of online tax calculator. And if you don't want to use that, grab your last year tax returns, look and see what's changed, get your June year-to-date pay stub, look and see where you are as far as your income and withholdings are, and determine if you're having too little withheld or too much withheld. You don't want to get hit with a big tax bill, and you don't want to get this huge refund where you're missing out on cash that you might need right now. So if you do the math and you're going to get a $6,000 refund, you need to go file a W-4 and decrease your withholdings. And so they're taking out less money. And so you have more money in your pocket, okay? Because you might need it now as opposed to trying to wait until next year and you file your taxes. So, and by the same token, if you had some kind of windfall of income and you're going to owe, you need to adjust your withholdings where you're having more withheld so you don't end up with a underpayment penalty because you didn't have enough money withheld. So find a way to take a look at your tax situation and make sure you're going to be pretty close to having withheld the amount you owe.
Another big one, you need to evaluate your employee benefit selections. Now, these benefits can include health insurance, life insurance, health savings plans, and flexible spending accounts, plus perks like gym membership. Now, reviewing your choices in the summer can prevent from becoming overwhelmed in October and November when open enrollment begins for most companies. Now, the goal is to ensure you're choosing the most cost-effective option that suits your needs. For example, PPOs have higher premiums but lower costs if you tend to use healthcare, lower deductibles, and copays typically. But if someone doesn't use that healthcare, then they can be overspending.
And another one that is kind of tough is fully fund your emergency savings if you can. A general rule of thumb is saying you should have 3 months worth of bills or $3,000 saved for an emergency. That's going to vary by person. You may need more if you own a house. You may need more than that if you have an emergency in your house. But a recession is a good time to make sure you have an emergency fund. It's times are bad. If things get really slow, companies do lay off people. I know nobody ever thinks they're going to be laid off, but if a recession is when companies do that, make sure you're prepared, got money put away, and just be ready.
Another one, though, is network and earn additional income. Now, the reason why we bring this one up, because believe it or not, people are losing jobs. And even though unemployment is down, and unemployment, when it's low, it benefits the employees because that means, you're not stuck at one job and there's other alternatives. And when the unemployment rate is up, it favors the employer because that it's not easy for you to get another job. But, consider building your professional network may increase your chances of getting a job, which could be helpful in rare cases where people get laid off, and especially during recessions when they tend to be laying more people off because, like Dote said, companies are, not earning as much and slowing down their development. And you might need additional income. You could look for side gigs or think about a business you like to build now as a way to earn passive income in the future. Because it's all about multiple income streams and diversifying your revenue streams. Although the thought of recession can be scary, we know a lot of people kind of get worried. It's a normal economic event, one that we've experienced in 2020, 2009, and 2001, in just this century alone. And it's amazing, but I bet you most people didn't even realize that we went through those because we have short memories. But training yourself to pick up, the telltale signs along with thorough preparation is the best way to protect yourself and to stay ahead of the curve. And that's why we try to provide as much information as we can, because we know that you only know what you know.
And Bob, we talked about this. We don't want to come off as the Grim Reaper. We're talking more of just being prepared, having yourself ready, realizing things could go bad, and if they don't, no harm's done because you're just better prepared. You just have money put away. You've lowered your debt. You've got your expenses under control. It's no negative to getting ready and being prepared.
Yeah, and that's the main thing, though. They said people don't plan to fail; they just fail to plan. It's amazing how a person can spend 2 years planning a wedding and don't spend 2 months planning their finances, or they spend several months planning a vacation and they only spend 2 hours planning their finances. So it's so important that we send a message out there and share this information with your family and friends, because we know information is power, and that's what we do here. So, Dope, want to give a shout out To the folks that are online, I want to say hello to my wonderful sisters, Nolia. She's out there today. Oh, all three of my sisters are on, dope. Nolia Melton, my sister Gloria Brown. Gloria's out there on YouTube. And she said this show provides excellent information in real time. Thank you. Taylor Doty. What's up, Taylor? Your daughter, your youngest daughter.
She's fighting through COVID, so
Taylor caught it too?
Yeah, Taylor caught it too. Yeah.
God damn,
we were all up in New York. Yep.
Y'all the COVID family.
Everybody but me.
I want to say, yeah, that's amazing. And Linda, my sister, wonderful sister Linda. What's up, Linda Sy? Garnett, what's up? Glad you out there. Karen Johnson, the wonderful VP of a financial institution. What's up, Karen? Glad you tuning in. Larry Abels, the Larry Abels, one of the key members of Real Fellas Talk Sports. Wait a minute, Hazel Phillips. Oh my God, what's up, Hazel? How you doing over there in Great Britain? Hazel, checking in. That's 5 hours ahead. Thank you, Hazel. Damn, for staying up. And my main man, John Butler, one of the singingest songbirds you ever imagine. Go out there on johnbutler.us. He writes, he even produces his music. Just great music. And the great Rodney L. Madison, noteexperience.com. Go out there and learn more about how you can invest in mortgage notes. Peter Sullivan. Hello, Peter. Peter Sullivan, dope, was one of the case managers when we were in the savings and loan crisis in the 80s, when we were closing all those savings and loan. Peter Sullivan was one of the top. Learned a lot from Peter, case managers. We were going around the country liquidating banks and coordinating on the depositor side. And Kevin Clay, what's up, Clay? Joanne Skinner, FDIC's finest. My high school and neighborhood friend, Yvonne DeBose. Yvonne said, yeah, staycation wins. Instead of a vacation, have a staycation. I'm with you. And my wonderful great niece, Shayna Kinzer, tuning in another week. Shayna, say hello to all the family and happy belated birthday to Colin. And Paul Roberts, another singing brother. Hello, Paul. Glad you joined us. So, dope, let's go to the video. Let's get to our takeaways and summary for today.
Okay, first one. Tough times requires tough decisions. Okay, this is the time to cut the fat out of your budget, cut the things you don't need to do, and make those tough decisions to get your finances in shape, get prepared for some tough times ahead.
We talked about this. One of the whole major points of those 4 points we went through. Mid-year review is crucial. A lot of times we wait for a year, but no, you need to do it every 6 months because things are so ever-changing. And in the market today, with the economy today, and the way life is today, it's so important and crucial that you review your situation, and not just financial situation, your whole situation as far as your home, your kids, and work. Mid-year review is good.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's very important that you review your tax and benefit situation. You don't want to leave money on the table in benefits, and you don't want to over withhold or under withhold your tax situation. Take a look at it, make sure it's where you need it to be.
That can be deadly. We must reduce the debt, you all, because that is what is killing most people. And one of the biggest ones is that credit card debt. You must begin to start paying that credit card debt down. But all debt. Now, there's a such thing as good debt, like a home, or appreciating assets. But bad debt, it can choke you out. It can stress you out. It's been proven that people have been stressed out from it. Pay down your debt. Pay it off. Don't be paying those minimum payments on that credit card because you'll never pay it off. Don't take on more debt that you can handle.
And to sum up this whole session today, it is be ready so you don't have to get ready.
I love that.
Prepare yourself so when times stay volatile or get worse, you're in a position to handle it. Okay, an emergency comes up, you got an emergency fund put away. If you lose your job, you got money put away. You've networked, you've got something else ready to go if that thing doesn't work out. So be ready. You won't have to get ready.
So, Dope, that sums up our show today about combating inflation and preparing for a recession, whether it is one or not one. There's no substitute for being prepared. There's an old saying, I will prepare so when my time comes, I will be ready. That was a statement from our favorite best friend and brother, Kevin Cato. He used to always say that, and I live by that too today. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you share, and before you leave out here, click on that like button and the heart button and put comments in there. And by the way, though, we were going to ask people, what are some of the things that they're doing to cut back on spending. Put that in the comment box. If y'all have some people, put some comments out there. We love to hear from you to know what are some of the things that you're doing, because it might help somebody else. So put that in the comment box. We still got a minute or two here. Dope, you have any other closing remarks?
No, but I still do all the little cheap things I do. I still get my credits from the credit card. I use every benefit that my credit card has. I just used one today. My credit card gave me a discount if I bought something from Untuckit. So I bought a shirt, got $20 credit on my credit card, and it was a 25% sale. So that's how I roll. I look for every penny and try not to spend a penny unless somebody pays me to spend it. And I try to spend as little as I can.
Dope. What I save on spending, this was at my job. They call me Mr. K&G. They said the K stand for Kinza. I go to the K&G and it's like 50% off rack. I go to the clearance rack if I need. I buy a whole stack of underwear that maybe, they're not cheesecloth underwear. They're tidy whities. but I save money, Dope. Those are some of the things I do. And Dope, let me ask you something. Because of the internet now, things are so technology driven. Do people clip coupons anymore?
No, but there's still coupons available. I mean, everybody always online. They have coupons available. You just have to take advantage of those. And a lot of the apps and a lot of the vendors have reward programs. I get my running shoes from a store called FITT, and they have a reward program. And so I usually take my rewards, and when they have a sale, I buy something. So it's like a coupon, but it's just their own way of doing it. And so a lot of people don't like to use apps, but most vendors, if you use their app, give you something to get you to use their app. And that's how you keep abreast of sales and discounts and things of that sort.
Yeah, and that's what Shana put in the comment box. Shana said, download apps that give discounts.
There you go.
That's wonderful.
My kind of person.
Yeah, that's my great niece. And there's so many other things out there, you all, that you just need to go out there and check them out. Now, another thing, though, that came up with a friend of mine today. He was an older gentleman. He's in his 70s. And he was pissed off that he had to pay his rent online. He said, I don't do no online payment. I don't do anything online with my cash. And he was at a dispute with them because they're like, okay, if you don't pay online, you can go down the street from the apartment and use the check, the check cashing place, which charges $3. Now, I know a lot of people don't like online, and I'm not going to call out any person that on here that I know that she don't like doing online. But though, soon or later, we're going to be like, it's frugal. Everything's going to be online. I mean, it may, and look, who knows, the dollar might go away because really everything is done electronically anyway.
And some people think like a check is safer. A check is the worst thing you can use because it has the routing number and account number, which people can use to access your account. So don't think you're safer using a check than using a credit card that you can set up alerts. Well, another thing I saved on, and Costco's good for this, but Ruth Chris is having a deal where you can get an $80 gift certificate for $50. So I sent them $100. They sent me $160 worth of gift cards. So,
well, see, though, that's how you roll, though. You know, I just how you roll. But I just got a gift certificate from Burger King. So that's how Doe roll. He said Ruth Chris. And though, by the way, people don't know this about checks. Banks do not print checks. Checks, they use a third-party company. So that's even more of a risk.
Oh, yeah.
Because a third-party company has your routing number and your account number and the name on top of the check.
But some banks are now not putting that information on checks. They're some kind of way hiding it and still being able to process it, of course. But that's one of the most vulnerable things that are out there, because people can access your account if they have the routing number and your account number. So be careful with your checks. And another scam that's happening, I see a lot, is people mail a check, people will fill that check, change the name and the amount, and then cash it. So make sure you only put your checks, if you do mail one, in a secure place.
So another thing about checks that people don't know, the ink on some of the checks that are printed, the ink is sitting on top of the paper. You have the other ink, and it's called a Uniball pens. That's why you should sign with Uniball, that blends into the paper. Now, I know this sounds very technical, but because the ones that have the print on top of the paper, you can get anything from CVS and take that signature off and put it on a check from another daggone. I mean, it's so much fraud nowadays, though, that you can't stop it. I mean, that's the thing about it. But you can prevent it. And that's the thing. At least know what you're doing. You know, when you go to the store, don't use debit, use credit, because somebody can steal your PIN number. And once they take the money out of your account, debit is gone. It takes 30, 60 to 90 days for the fraud people to research it to get your money back. So those are just some things that we just want to share with you all to consider, to really consider. So with that, dope, next week, 8 p.m., the FITT Show will re-air, and we'll have some more topics. And remember, put some topics down in that box for us, y'all, that y'all want us to cover. If there's some things that we haven't covered, or you have a question about some of the things we put down there, please do, put some messages in there.
And please have a happy, healthy, and safe 4th of July weekend, and avoid the Rona. You don't want to get the Rona, so make sure you're careful.
Yeah, watch out for the Rona. And remember, mask it or casket. There's not a choice. So look, y'all, take good care. What's up? The Reverend Darrell Cole Angels just got on. And Tanya McKillary, thank you for tuning in. Y'all stay tuned next week. We love you. Thank you for this opportunity. Have a good day.